Hi everyone, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my home. It's fall, my favorite season. I've just finished with this beautiful fall centerpiece, and I am so excited to be back with you making some of my favorite recipes. You know, I love everything about fall, from the colors to the smells and the crisp chill in the air, but my all-time favorite thing is making those wonderful, comforting meals that are just meant to be eaten by a fire. And today I'm going to start out with my favorite all-time meal, Sunday red sauce with meatballs. So let's go over to the stove and get started. The best thing about making sauce on a Sunday morning is the anticipation that fills the house when those smells of garlic and basil fill the air. So I start my sauce by heating up some olive oil and then putting in some wonderful Italian sausage, hot or sweet, a mixture of both, whatever you prefer. And I want this to really caramelize so that the sausage releases all of the oils and the juices and really flavors the olive oil itself. To that, I'm gonna add some garlic. And I leave my garlic cloves whole so that nobody bites into pieces of garlic. They're very visible. You can avoid it if you don't like it, but yet it permeates the sauce. Basil. Everything good in Italian cooking starts out with olive oil, garlic, and basil, right? Parsley. And of course, garlic salt in place of regular salt. Now, I am just going to let this brown with the cover on, slightly ajar. And it takes about, I would say 7 minutes. Make sure it's caramelized and brown on all sides. And then I'm going to finish adding the rest of my ingredients. Oh, the smells in this kitchen. So comforting. My sausage is golden brown, so is the garlic. And now I'm ready to add my tomatoes. Now you can make your red sauce with any type of tomato you prefer, a crushed tomato, a tomato puree. I prefer to buy plum tomatoes, San Marzano style. My favorite brand is Sclafani. No matter what brand I try, that's the tried and true for me. I always come back to it. And I find it right in my grocery store, right at Stop and Shop. Now, I buy the whole tomatoes and then I puree them in the blender. And I get a beautiful, thick, frothy tomato sauce to put into my pot. There, that should be great. I'll just turn this up a little higher. Pour the rest in. You know, everybody makes sauce so differently, and everybody has their own traditions. I know in my family, Sundays always meant red sauce. Now we're all grown. My brother, my sister, and I, we all make 3 different sauces, totally different, but they're all delicious. Now, of course, the key to a great sauce is really good Parmigiano Reggiano, and be generous with it. I'm just gonna put that right in the pot, and then some black pepper. Give it a stir, and I'm gonna put the cover on it, and I'm just gonna let it simmer for hours. And the smell is gonna fill the house, the sausage is gonna continue to cook, and it's gonna absorb the flavors of the tomatoes. And while this simmers, we're gonna make meatballs. Now it's time to make the meatballs. The secret to my meatballs are that I use a combination of veal, pork, and beef. And in many stores, it's called a meatball or meatloaf mix. And it's perfect proportions of those 3 meats ground together, all packaged up for you. So I have my meat in the bowl, and I'm gonna add some eggs, basil, parsley, garlic salt. Now I'm gonna use the garlic salt in place of salt. Black pepper. And then the last 2 ingredients are breadcrumb. And I don't use an abundance of breadcrumb for the quantity of meat because I don't want my meatballs to taste like they have fillers. I want the quality and the taste of those meats to stand out. And then Parmesan cheese. And remember, always use good quality Parmigiano Reggiano. Your hands are your best tools for this. Just gonna mix it all up. You know, meatballs, again, are such a personal thing for everybody. Some people, that's what they grew up on, is a meatball that's just made with ground beef. Once you try it with the 3 meats, it gives you such a beautiful texture in your meatball and great flavors. I don't think you're ever gonna wanna go back to just using ground beef. You wanna incorporate all your ingredients, but you don't want to mix for so long that you're changing the consistency of your meat. When you work meat too much with your hands, it changes the texture. And once they're cooked up, the texture's just not as firm and the way you want it. So all I'm doing is getting it so that the ingredients are incorporated. And now I'm ready to start rolling my meatballs. I tend to make mine a little large. You can make them whatever size you want. My grandmother always did this. Hi.
Hi, can I help?
Sure, come on over here. Do you have clean hands?
Yeah, I just washed them.
Okay, come on, dig in. And again, with rolling your meatball, you want to do it as quickly as possible. Perfect. Good girl. Quickly as possible, because again, you don't want the meat to come in too much contact with your hands so that it gets warm and the texture changes. This is your favorite, huh?
Yeah.
My kids absolutely adore our Sunday tradition of red sauce. And actually the meatballs are something, I pack them for lunch at school. They stay great in a thermos or meatball sandwiches, and they just love it. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
So we're gonna continue to roll the rest of this meat. Then I'm gonna put it in a 375-degree oven, and I'm gonna bake them. And that's another key. A lot of people fry their meatballs. I love the coating they get on them when they've been baked, and it's a little bit of a healthier option. So once we're through rolling the meatballs, I'm just gonna drizzle lightly the tops of the meatballs with olive oil. Again, a 375-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. And when they come out, I'm gonna drop them into my sauce and let them cook for another 30 minutes to get all the flavors of that delicious red sauce. And when we come back, we're gonna finish this meal up. Good job. A real good helper. My meatballs browned beautifully in the oven, and I'm just finishing putting the last of them into this sauce. This beautiful red orange colored sauce, and that's not only from the tomatoes but the cheese and the color it gets when you put the two together. Just gonna put the lid back on and let it finish cooking. While that finishes, I'm gonna put a pot of boiling water on, cook some pasta, and we're gonna have a wonderful meal. But I just wanna take this time to give you a very important tip. This pan is one of the key kitchen tools that I have. It's made by La Crusette, and there's something about this pan and the way it cooks so evenly. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference for sauces, stews, soups, and it's a Dutch oven. So when you're making those special things like a beef bourguignon or a veal ossobuco, it's perfect to place in your oven, and you get a gorgeous braise. You can get the whole line of La Crusette at Page Hardware and Appliance Store, right here on the shoreline. So convenient, and I'm telling you, this is one thing that I can't live without in my kitchen. When I come back, we're gonna taste that wonderful pasta and meatballs. The pasta is ready, and I'm just finishing it off with a little grated Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm ready to call the family to dinner, but what do you think? Should we just sneak a little taste before we call everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just share a little bit.
That looks so good.
Here, share a meatball. Nobody will ever know. Go ahead, tell me what you think. Hold on in there, there you go. This says Sunday. You like it? You know what? This is a wonderful tradition, and I know for me and my family, sharing meals together really keeps us close. And this tradition of Sunday dinner is just something really we all feel we don't want to miss. So every Sunday we start our day by making a pot of sauce and anticipating dinner, right? I think she's enjoying herself. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad to be back. We've got a great season of shows for you. Remember, anytime you've got friends and family gathered together, you've got a wonderful occasion. See you soon. Hi everybody, I'm Roberta Lombardi, creator of The Elegant Occasion, and I've got news for you. Page Hardware and Appliance Company is having their grand reopening the last Saturday in October, and I'm going to be there cooking up brunch. Join me on Saturday, October 27th between 10 and 12. Page Hardware and Appliance Company on the Green in Guilford. See you there!